Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation show. I just wanted to come on a little bit. I've been trying to work with my Restream broadcasting, and for some reason, it's like I have another one that popped up with nothing on it. So I thought this service was discontinued, but it's not. It's not. It's not. This one right here, my Restream right here. But once again, I just want to share this. I met some beautiful ladies today, and one of them name was Barbie Johnson and Tasha. These are women from the book Breakers, right? Now, they broadcast from the Coyote Man Show Network. That's where they broadcast their show from. So, actually, they came out, they talked with me, and we're going to start doing some work together as far as broadcasting and stuff like that. Now, because I'm on Restream, I restreamed to five other social medias at one time, right? So they do Roka and some other ones, right? So basically, we're trying to come together to grow what we're doing. That's the point. So today we sitting there talking, y'all, and I'm talking about some God fearing women. And I kind of, as a man of Christ, it's certain words sometimes that people say to truly help me understand that you are really connected with the Holy Spirit, stuff like that. So that's not to take it personal for anybody, because a lot of us proclaim things, but it's certain things I listen to in people to help me better understand that you are that person that's on a mission for Christ as well. And some of the things that were said, y'all, Tasha was sitting there and Tasha was talking about like the homelessness issues, and I'm gonna say the crime, everything that I tend to fight for as far as trying to help us in Baltimore City kind of get control back over our city. I don't get paid for nothing I do. So it's not like later down the line, because I did start my LLC, that I don't want to get paid. I want to get paid for what I do. But if not, which I know God is, I mean, it's business, real simple, it's business. And my goal is not to rob, steal, and take from our people. My goal is to help our people. And I'm trying to look for more people who hearts and minds is in the same place, because it's business for a lot of us. And what I love, I do what I do, whether I get paid or not. But I started the LLC, so the whole goal is to I'm creating that business of helping with our homeless and less fortunate people. So the business proposal is together. I'm gonna start having meetings with like developers and other business partners where we can come together. A lot of the killing and all of that that's going on in Baltimore City, we can slow that down. And I was talking to a brother today, and he was like, in a way, he began to lose hope because he feel like things probably won't get no better. And I told him, I said, you know what, man, sometimes I feel like that too, and it kind of discusses you, right? But the reason why I'm saying that, I just can't give up. I can't turn my back on Baltimore City. I know a lot of people, they doing great jobs, and as far as with their nonprofits, their businesses, and they working in the community, but a lot of us is just so far apart from what we do. So you can have somebody with a nonprofit that's doing great, and they might be 3 blocks down, but you don't even know they exist down there. But with me, because I started going out into the communities to find out what nonprofit is doing what in the community, because you got to get to know what's going on around your community. I'm not a community president, no, but when I started with Communities United of Baltimore, Maryland, and I'm gonna say that again, Communities United of Baltimore, Maryland, I called that the baby branch of the NAACP, because Communities United fights for the democracy here in Baltimore City, for the democracy of Black people. They fight for fair housing, and fair wages. Then they support the senior citizens, and it's all about helping basically the poor, right? But because they are in Baltimore City, their whole goal is the inner city Black community. But because of my experience now, Black people is not the only people in the community, in the poor community, suffering. So I help whoever need the help. You got me? And the whole goal is to say, like, if you making the minimum wage, or you making anywhere from $11 to $15 an hour, because that's the top is 15. But if you making something along that line and you kind of struggling to maintain your rent and then gas and electric and all that type of stuff, the vision that God gave me is for us to start rehabbing and revitalizing houses for inner city people. Bree Jones, somebody finally reached out and invested in her program, so she's doing it now. And once I found out somebody reached out to her, I was like, well, I'm next in line. That's just because we basically talked about the same things. And I have to build my business. So what I do, if you have rental property and you want somebody in there to maintain and take care of your property, I'm the guy, right? But now my thing is, I want to get with, private landlords, apartment buildings, stuff like that, because most of the people I work with, they can't afford to pay a regular like $1,000 rent or $1,200 rent. Most of them, because they coming into my program, I can tell you personally, they can afford at least around about 500 or 600 a month. Now, and it's not too many places that going to give them a 2 bedroom or 1 bedroom for 600 a month. So that's why I want people to work with my company, as far as what is that, the reduced rent. Now, my goal is reaching out to like housing to get that extra money to help offset our homeless and less fortunate people, and Section 8, where we can get families or individuals into housing. So the goal is to sit down and I done told somebody, I done talked with somebody that day. I was downtown with Christina Flowers and them doing the red tent thing, right? But anyways, some people from the mayor's office came out, and I was like, ooh, good, because I was telling them basically what I do and what I've been doing for years, to work with our homeless and less fortunate people. I work with our Black men, young men, women with children calls me. When I first started out, I was housing women and children. That's what I was doing. But that fell apart with the people I was with. So now I'm basically standing on my own. I'm standing on my own to help the same people that I was reaching out to help before, group of people. So that's where I'm at. So the goal is to start having meetings with housing, homeless services. The reason why I'm saying that, because the people that slip through the crack, like some of the people I might reach, that the caseworkers that y'all have might not, connect with. I connect with the ones that kind of fall through the crack. So I do want to talk with like caseworkers and stuff, so that way, say like you talking with a client, and I get the name and number, and I get your number too. So 2 3 months go by, you'll tell them something like, you'll try to have something for them in the next 2 3 months. So 2 3 months go by, do a follow up, little stuff like that. That's what I want to do, and I want people to work with me. So it's not something that I'm trying to really jump out and do all by myself because I'm just one person. But I want a team of us that will help to slow down homelessness. Because I know Brandon Scott, he gave me the information to some people that they gave that $90 million to. Then, if I'm not mistaken, it was some more millions that came in that's supposed to be given back to, I'm going to say, our most vulnerable people. I haven't fed into it too much because I'm not sure. It's just that I've been hearing little things. But I do know about the 90 million that went to a nonprofit. So Brandon Scott sent me a message and said, go sit down and talk with them. Because the whole goal is, because of my business, and individuals, reach out to me. And I don't just get phone calls from people in Baltimore City. I get phone calls from people all over who have family in Baltimore City, and they trying to look for a place for them to go. So normally when people call my business phone, they thinking they calling a shelter itself. But I have to explain to them, no, I'm not a homeless shelter, but I actually provide shelter for the clients. But anytime somebody come into my housing program, and I know you might have been on the streets, or say like your life had become disastrous, right? Something caused you to, I'm gonna say, lose control over your life and to become irresponsible. I'm gonna use those words. So the goal is to help you regain a life. So when you come in, if you have like depression, bipolar, or just anxiety, and you might feel like you need a therapist or psychiatrist to talk to, that's what I want you to do. I want you to do whatever you can to get this back on track, right? Because I know most people that fall on hard times, it's a reason why. Or if you say like lived in your own place and stuff, or you were sharing a house with somebody, which I don't recommend that to nobody. I don't. But if you sharing a house with somebody and next thing you know, y'all got into it, you got to leave, or somebody got to leave, and you can't afford to rent in the house. So that's why I don't recommend people to shack up with other people. My thing is, if you can get in to some of these government houses programs, most of them are free. But if you can get into them, that's excellent. And that's what I try to do with my clients. I'm trying to reach out to apartment buildings, and I've been talking with people, and they've been talking with people, with their caseworkers. They one the mother and the daughter in my house, they got two cats. So they've been reaching out too. But wherever they calling that, want $600 deposit for the cats. They ain't got all that money like that. And then they might want not just one security, but they asking for double security. A lot of people ain't got their money like that. And I'm like, and that's what I'm running into too. I'm like, oh my God, because I thought it would be a lot easier for me, because I've been kind of working with stuff for a while, to actually get people into these housing programs. But it's so much stipulation with them. And I think that's sad. So basically, I want Section 8 homeless services to work with strengthening the community, or housing. That's what I'm saying. Section 8 housing and homeless services. To work with strengthening the community, help me understand your guidelines, but certain things I want us to really overlook, to try to really get people into places. Because sometimes they set stuff up where, say like if you just came home from prison, anybody that come home from prison gonna need a house. They're gonna need a place. They're gonna need a room. They're gonna need a job. They're gonna need all this. But if you put stipulations there to keep them out, that's not good. Because they have a criminal background, that's not good. Or they have a felony on their criminal background. They might have an eviction on their report. So when you have eviction, or you have two, God knows if you have three, a lot of rental property is not going to let you in, period, because you're irresponsible to them. So basically, when the people come in my life, it's to get them educated again. But most importantly, I want you to get the mental health to help this, to help balance out this again, so that you can function and be responsible and productive on your own. So when anybody come into my program and I charge you for a private room or room for yourself, as long as you pay me on time every month and you don't have a problem with paying, I know you're going to be responsible if you get your place. But other than that, see, I'm kind of watching you, and you buying your soap, you buying your toilet paper, you taking care of yourself because it's independent living. Anything you need to learn, like if you need somebody to help you with finances, I have people I can guide you to with that. If you need somebody, say like you want to go back to school, maybe get your GED, or you want to get into apprenticeship program to become a contractor or an electrician or stuff like that, I have programs that I talk to that we can guide you to. And that's the same stuff I tell our young generation out on the corner, like our hustlers. And, you know, if they feel like they can't get a decent job, that's why they out there hustling. And I tell them stuff like, oh, you can go to trucking school or you can go to construction. Because when you take up a trade, you're not judged a lot because of that trade, because that's your profession. But when you go on somebody's job and you got to fill out all that, yeah, now they want to know your background. They wanted this, they wanted that. But when you basically like do a trade, rather you do plumbing, electricity, bricklaying, and this is something you specialize in and you good at what you do, that's why you took that trade and you making good money. If you don't work with somebody that could pay you well, you basically can start your own business. You got me? So that's how I talk to clients that come in my program to help them understand what they can do in order to turn their lives around. I don't care if you just got home from prison. I don't care. Janet Graham, she works with ex-offenders. They going to the jails now where they talking with the women now. So as the women begin to come out and they come into Janet program, Janet will give them a room and she will help them get a job as well. Because I got a guy, I sent one guy to Janet some months ago. I haven't heard from him in a while. But I got another guy that I was going to send to Janet. But he really don't want to go. He don't want to go. But I'm trying to work with him. So the goal is to help him get a better paying job because he's working with his brother. And his brother does roofing. His brother's a roofing contractor. But you know how sometimes you just don't have steady work, you know. But anyway, I was letting them know you can't be here and not pay your way. Because this is what's all about, you know, you being responsible, productive, and all of that. So I'm kind of like working with them, you know. And I'll work with you long as you're willing to do the right things. But if you're not willing to take the suggestions and follow, I'm gonna say the program with getting your mental health, getting balanced out with your mental health, a counselor, therapist, PRP, all my clients, and I told Melvin, I said all my clients, I want to get therapy because I want you to be able to free yourself from whatever trauma that's going on inside that you've been dealing with probably from childhood on up. That's kind of making your life. I'm trying to find the word, y'all, but crazy in the here and now. You understand? Irresponsible, where you not, you know, maintaining and you know, like budgeting and all of that. I want people to learn to do because you have to be responsible. If you're gonna go out there and live on your own, you got to know how to pay bills and take care of yourself and budget your money and all this and that. I'm telling you, that's true. That's life. You can't expect other people to take care of you. I'm 60 years old. I don't look for nobody to buy me this and do that. Matter of fact, I never really did. Because my mother taught me at an early young age that men take care of their responsibilities. So since I was younger, you know, I always worked at 14 and, you know, had to take care of the house and everything, like cooking and cleaning and sewing. So she taught me very well. And I'm used to taking care of any woman that come in my life. I'm gonna tell you right now, you got a good man. But I'm gonna tell you this too. Sometimes when the relationship going sour, now this is what I did before. I haven't done it in a while. I tend to reach out to other females to comfort me. I don't want to leave the marriage or nothing like that. I just want to be comfort in that area if I'm not getting it to me from my mate. And these are things that I am going to talk about when I start doing my live podcast. Probably will do an hour show. And I'm not going to just talk, right? The goal is to talk on a topic because we already know what it is. But the goal is the more come in with solutions and ways and means to overcome things, you know. And that's what I want to do. You know, I'm going to have people on. I'm gonna have it with people probably could call in and you know, share their experience and stuff like that. But that's what I want to do because a lot of us was never taught how to be responsible, productive, and stuff like that in life. So we just do whatever and keep wondering why we falling. You know, we keep falling. So that's why for me, it is important that you learn to work on this. And there's nothing wrong with it because some of us, it's a chemical imbalancement in the brain with a lot of us with certain things in life, trying to cope with certain things. So you have to get that balance back out. And sometimes it take medication. Sometimes it just take consultation, talking to somebody. I'm sorry, talking to someone. And I try to be open and honest, but understand that took years. When I started doing some work in the inside, and I knew for me to be able to really talk about what's going on or what went on in my life, I had to learn to build that connection back with me. And what I mean, I had to learn to be honest with myself. I had to learn to have faith back in myself. I had to learn to trust back in myself. And these are spiritual principles. This is spiritual. And I begin to feel that. I begin to feel like where I used to tell lies, now I can tell the truth. I can be honest. And it was like I was feeling, I was like, hey, you know, because I'm starting to feel that I don't have to lie about stuff. I can be honest, most of all with me. Because if I'm honest with me and I have faith and trust in me, then I can open up and share those things with you because I'm all right with me. So that's why when a lot of people come in my life, I try to feed them those three, right? Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. I'm being truthful. I call it truth, faith, and trust, and they spiritual principles. And that's based on every relationship. Honesty is, well, communication is the main, but honesty. Then you got to learn to have faith and trust in your mate. But if you have faith and trust in you, then you'll have faith and trust in them, even if they're doing the wrong things. Because the whole goal is to believe when y'all not around each other that they out there doing the right things, even if they're not. Because that can drive you crazy, wondering what they doing, where they at, who they with, blah, 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 blah. So sometimes you just have to believe in your spirit or in your heart, even though you know that person might be deceitful as hell. But you might have to just to have peace in your life. Because sometimes people got to go through what they got to go through to realize what precious thing they had on the side. You got me. And a lot of that I didn't really understand. My first wife was my best wife. And I didn't I wasn't, I loved her, but I wasn't in love with her. And when I met this girl, I understood the difference between just loving a person and being in love with that person because I fell in love with this person. So I understood the difference. And I struggled to keep my first marriage together because I went and got me and this young lady a place, but I would go home, but I would go to the other house. And it got to the point where, I'm trying to do the right things. And I broke down and cried in front of my first wife. But I was crying about the person that I really couldn't be with. So my first wife told me, she said, Steve, I know you love me. And I understand today you're just not in love with me. And she set me free. She said, you can go. And I did. I mean, this girl had our place and everything. That lasted only 6 months. And I had to leave that. So I was broken. And I had to go seek counseling because I didn't realize, because of, stuff like that, I was dealing with depression. So I'm only saying that because everything I shared with y'all and talk about, I have reached out to like therapists, counselors, psychiatrists, because the whole goal is, if I feel like I'm just losing control over my life, or my life is falling apart, I will go and talk with somebody else and share where I'm at, because sometimes the outside people, like that therapist, that counselor, they see you better than you see yourself because they on the outside. So when you start telling them things, they can only go off of what you're telling them to give you a diagnosis, basically. So that's why with me, if I'm sitting with a psychiatrist or therapist, I tell them everything. But see, this where I'm at, this going on, blah, 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 because I want them to get the picture so that they can help me. Basically, I'm gonna say with a working program. Say, well, this what you need to do to slow this down, stop this, or work on that. Give me something, give me a guide. And a lot of times for me, I will do a self-inventory. So I'll go inside myself to say, okay, Steve, what is going on with you? Why are you feeling like this? Why do you? So I have to do a self-inventory. But if I feel like I need to talk to somebody, I'm gonna say that's more educated, because that's all it is. I'm sharing personal experience, but they educated to understand certain things that I might not understand personally. And that's how you feed me. That's how I feed people, y'all. I listen to them and I connect with their spirit. And my whole goal as a man of God is to comfort your spirit, to build you up, no matter how you feel inside. Is to help you feel that love and compassion. Is just helping you to understand you are better than anything or situation that's going on in your life. You are better than that, even if it don't look good. So we're gonna have some fun. Telling y'all now, when we get ready to do this, and I want to come more professional. I don't want to come like I used to. Even though to me, understand, I'm real passionate. And sometimes I might appear mean, arrogant, and nasty or hateful to people. That's not where I'm at. That's not where I'm at. Even if you try to diagnose me like that, that's not where I'm at. That's why I try not to do stuff like that to people, because you got to give people the freedom of expressing themselves the best way they can. Stop trying to put people in your category of expressing yourself, because you might be the type of person that certain things happen, you more calmer in dealing with it and know how to push it out fast so it won't, escalate in you. But it takes some of us to cry, holler, scream, do certain things to relieve that pressure, to relieve that attention. So I never tell people you shouldn't feel like this or you shouldn't think like that. I never. Because it's not like I want to have bad thoughts or I want to think bad things, but they come. So I'm not asking for it, but it comes. Now, how do you deal with it when it comes? So a lot of y'all be like nonchalant, like just let it go, just don't pay attention. When you do yourself, when you have your own way of coping with it, you might not be open as much as I am in expressing myself when I'm on my live. You might like doing it private, but you might call somebody and talk to 10 other people. But then hear me on my live talking about that don't make no sense. He on there telling his business. Yup. It might not make sense, but guess what? If you made 10 phone calls, this is my phone call. This is the way I relieve the pressure, the attention, or the stress. And I don't want you to tell me how I need to respond to anything. My thing is when I respond, I try to do it where I don't want to go to jail. I'm not trying to hurt nobody where I get locked up. But now, mind you, I will go back to that old thinking. Like who you think you talking to, blah, 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 blah. And I had to back myself down. Because a lot of y'all say little stupid stuff out your mouth, like, what you gonna do to me? Like, I'm gonna just sit here and wait for you to come and do something to me. I'm like, huh? And I try to make this real simple too. My brothers always told me, don't never tell another man what you're gonna do to him. If there's anything you're gonna do it. So when y'all do that, then I go right back to that. Because I don't know if you actually gonna come and try to hurt me. So it's like I'm wrestling now with myself. Or should I such and such and such and such? And then I had to really fight myself not to entertain that. So a lot of times, watch what you say if you're not about it. If you're about going out there doing stuff destructive to people, don't you tell them. Don't you tell them. Because I had a guy come to my house and I told him he stepped on my porch. And I told him, I said, I could take you down. You coming up on my porch, but me and him talked. It was about the kids, and we became little friends or whatever. Because his kids was like my kids, because I knew they didn't have a father down there, but they were showing off in the neighborhood. And I would discipline them, and they called their father. I said, go call him. So when he came, I told him actually, who I was. His kids played with my kids, and they got into an argument. And one of the little kids, I think I spanked him or something, and he went and called his father. And it was okay. Because his father was like, well, at least I know I got somebody that kind of got my kids back. They grown now. But yeah. So a lot of y'all might think I'm this mean, nasty, evil dude. Barbara Jean did a good job with me, y'all. I'm just the type of dude, I come from the hustling mob, so don't get it wrong. I'm so used to having stuff a certain way, so I had to humble myself because I have to stand on my beliefs. I had to stand firm on whatever the vision is that God gave me to do stuff. I have to stand there. Even if somebody try to divert me, I can't let you do that because he already showed me what he want done. So, but if you are part of the vision and the mission, I'm like, come on, let's do what we do. I have no problem if I see we on the right path together. I'll step back. If you share with me and you see it a little bit more clear or easier or more structured than I do, I'll be like, all right, let's go. Because I know we doing what God asked us to do. And a lot of times I might not. I can share with you what he want done, but you might see a more professional way or classier way of getting it done. You got me? So I don't knock none of that when people come with me to work on certain things, because we all working as a team. So I'm not going to argue with you. No, I want it done. No, long as I know it's lined up with what God showed me. So I've been trying to be cool, as far as not coming on my live all the time. I want to do the podcast part and the team talk. I was telling the ladies today I might do Wednesday because their show comes on like 5:30. So I might do a Wednesday at 5:30. They do a half an hour, might do 5 o'clock. They do a half an hour, 30 minutes. I'm like, ooh. So y'all know I talk. And I feel like we are going to have to do at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half, because it's going to be topics. And not just topics. I want us to do solutions. So if we got to do the hour, we'll do the hour. But maybe a half or 15 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes. I just want us to be able to talk about stuff and not only talk about it, but if you've been through it and you on the other side, those the people I really want to feed the public and turning their lives around. So I love y'all. It's 35 minutes that I've been on here. I'm getting ready to go to sleep, but I just wanted to come on because for some reason, my live stream, it's like it had me on something else, like I had to rebuild it again. So I went on the site and just logged in, and it gave me everything back because it's like it cleared everything off of that, and I had to redo it. And I'm like, no, I already got, this is where I live stream from. They take the payment out every month. So I'm like, what happened? They didn't deleted my stuff. So no, I'm on the right page where it say the couch conversation. And it tells you what the couch conversation is all about. And I got my paperwork together where if you're new to my program, I can hand you the pamphlet or the paperwork so you can better understand what strengthening the community is all about. And then you look at the LaTanya D. Copeland house. I was trying to change it, but I seen on one thing it had housing program. But I thought I changed it to House of Hope because that's what it's all about. It's just like a transitional house, but it's independent living. It teaches you how to be responsible, how to maintain, how to take care of yourself. You don't sign no lease because that's not what this is all about. If you come into my program, I'm not. If I know you on dope and cane and all of that, you cannot come into my house because it's not a recovery program. And I can't have you in there wilding out with the drugs and stuff when I got people in there that don't use like that on that level where they don't use. They might smoke a little weed to calm this down. And I did say I might open up one of them recovery, well, not recovery, but when I do open up a house, I might open up a house for people where they can smoke. Because I understand some people deal with chronic issues that they smoke weed for. And then I'm learning more too, that a lot of people with mental issues who might not get prescribed weed, but they smoke the regular weed. So I'm trying to be fair with that. As long as you don't do it in my house and I'm not smelling it, but I know you do it and you sociable just to calm this down or to ease some of this. I have no problem with that. I'm trying to be open to that. But I don't get high. So I don't want nobody in my program that's like doing dope and cane and all of that. I don't want that. I will send you to a recovery program. But it's about turning your life around. And if you get into my program and you decide you want to buck the system, my thing is you can go. Because it's about saving your life. So if you want to fight it, then go. Give that space to somebody else. I love y'all. Have a nice night or morning. Because I probably lay here for about another hour. I know I'm going to be gone. Because I took my sleeping pills. That's why my throat sounded a little dry. But I love y'all. And I'm off. I just wanted to come on for a little bit. And it's Steve Copeland from Strengthening the Community. Love y'all, family.